Hello and welcome, I'm Aeon, and today let's go over some of the development notes that Blizzard have given us for WOTLK Classic. I just want to quickly say thank you so much to everybody who's tuned into my last video. We broke 100 views pretty quick, so thank you. So first of all, let's talk about what they're actually putting into the game, and the first thing is badges. In Tier 7 in Wrath of the Lich King, there was two types of badges. There was Heroism and Valor, and Heroism came from 5-mans and 10-mans, and Valor came from 25. Now what this means is that you were quite capped as a 10-man player. 200 item level, which is what Heroism got you, was pretty much where you were stuck at. There was Kel'Thuzad in 10-man, 2 Drake Obsidian Sanctum and Malygos, so 3 bosses, and even the Obsidian Sanctum one only dropped 1 piece, I believe, that got you to 213, but it was extremely restrictive. Now with the Valor point badges, you can go to a 213 vendor and buy, 213 item level gear, which is 25-man, which is great. But as a 10-man raider, your only source of those was the daily dungeon finder. The first heroic you did every day through the dungeon finder gave you 2, which means saving for things was like 30 days, which is a long time for a singular piece of gear. So they've now changed it. Both 10 and 25 mans will give Valor, which is incredible. It means that 10-man raiders will now have access to the 213 item level gear from the vendor very early on. And it also means people who do 25-man can go back, do 10-man, and get Valor from them to buy that gear, which is great. But everybody wins. 10-man raiders get a little bit more of a pool to 213, and 25-man raiders get more badges to play with. Now, the one big thing that people seem to forget about Tier 7 and the badge system in general in Wrath is that you can buy tier gear. So as a 10-man raider, you really did struggle to buy your tier gear, because every boss in 10-man only dropped 1 piece, and that was it. So as a 10-man raider, you were fighting 9 other people all the time. You couldn't do much else. But now, with Valor points being available to you by doing 10-mans, you will be able to buy a complete 4 set. So you'll be able to get, I believe it's chest and gloves from Heroism, which will be the 10-man version of that tier set. But the set bonus still crossover, remember. So you could have 2 pieces of 10-man and 2 pieces of 25-man, and you would still have the 4 set, which is fantastic. And then you also have access to the Valor vendor, which sells legs and shoulders. So you can get chest, gloves, legs, shoulders, which means you can get 4 set as a 10-man raider without ever having to worry about fighting people, and 2 pieces of that 4 set will be 25-man quality. They'll be 213, which is your shoulders and your legs. This is a great change. It means 10-man raiders have more access, so if you choose to play the game a little more casually with a smaller group of friends, you now have a bigger pool of 213 gear. And as a 25-man raider, you just go back and do 10-man for extra badges if you want. This is great. This is a fantastic change. So the next change is that they are buffing Nax. Buffing it. For those who didn't play Wrath originally, Nax even back then was extremely easy. It was quite disappointing because most people didn't clear Nax in Classic, so having it back again for Wrath was like, oh my god, we get to go to Nax. And all these fantastic stories we heard about how great it was just didn't pan out. It was extremely easy and quite disappointing. So it made for a very negative tier. To combat this, they're going to give it a little bit more difficulty. They're going to be buffing health and damage. We don't know the specifics yet, but we know they're coming, and hopefully they keep a good eye on it and make sure it's balanced correctly, that it doesn't become ridiculously hard and just becomes a nice gradual increase of difficulty. So this moves us to the most interesting changes. Well, not a change, they're thinking about it, not implemented it yet. Something they're thinking about. They are thinking of making 10-man drop the same gear as 25. And of course, I'm guessing it would mean they dropped less gear, so you get more gear per player ratio in a 25-man raid. But it means that 10-man would become an actual thing. You wouldn't be at any disadvantage for being a 10-man apart from slightly less gear. Meaning that people could go back and make 10-man raiding guilds again. This became a thing in Cataclysm, by the way. This was in Cata, that 10-man and 25-man were completely separate, but they dropped the same gear. Or they dropped similar item level gear, I believe. Not quite sure. But they basically dropped the same item level. So being a 10-man raider meant that you would get gear at maybe a little bit of a slower pace than a 25-man raider, but it was there, and there was nothing, and you weren't disadvantaged by any way. So you could create 10-man guilds. Now, personally for me, I love smaller scale content. I was never a fan of 40-man. I don't really like 25-man, and 10-man is nice. In modern day MMOs, smaller scale content, smaller groups of content seems to work better, and I think it would be a good plan. So what do you think? Do you think 10-man's a good idea? Do you think making 10-man a proper non-disadvantage source of raiding a good thing? Is that something that you would like? Let me know in the comment section below if that's something you're interested in, or if you think there's some other changes they should implement. Thank you very much for watching. If you have any questions, feel free to put them in the comment section, join my Discord and ask me there, or even catch me on my live stream. All the links are in the description below. Thank you so much again for watching, and thank you for watching my last video. Until next time, peace.